Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, episode 97 in the frickin' home studio with Chris sitting across from me.
Again?
Yep. Here we are.
3 weeks in a row in home studio?
But wait a minute, there's more. If you act now, you'll get a Ginsu knife set.
Oh, shit, I need one.
We got Kyle Seglin in the studio tonight. Woo! Kyle, welcome.
Hello, what's up? Hey, guys.
You're back from the desert.
Can you believe it?
I think he's been to the desert like 7 times since KOH.
How many road miles have you put down, man?
Oh, boy. Let's just put it. My truck needs another oil change. We had a fresh one before Hammers. Yeah. I'm not out of the desert for long.
No.
Wow.
Because I was like, okay, and we're going to get into all this, but it was a chaotic week, obviously, getting E.V.E ready. You got to the lake bed. You still had work to do. We all know the outcome of the thing. You finished the race, which was freaking epic. But we were camped next to each other, and we kept going into your camp, and you were like majorly into, heavy into battery charging, or something was going on, some problem you were trying to fix, and it's like, hey, we gotta do a podcast. We gotta do a podcast and follow up with you and your sister at the race, and it just didn't happen. It didn't materialize. But here we are.
Chaos ensued.
It did. I mean, that's KOH.
That's right.
You get
the whole week. We didn't even get to test the car really, like just barely at the beginning.
Right.
We didn't get to qualify.
Right.
We were just barely trying to figure out how to get this thing ready for race day.
Right.
So that's the whole team was just focused on that. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And it was apparent. And, so it was like, okay, I go, Chris, let's go down and interview Kyle and his sister, Dahlia. And it didn't happen. And it's like, oh, nope, they're not there. And then the whole Orabama camp is a whole nother entity of
Holy
itself.
moly. It's just a shit show.
It's got its whole life of its own. And so it's like, okay, and it just, anyways, we're here now.
Yes, we are.
And thanks for coming down to the home studio. It's great. We always love in-person interviews.
Oh, yeah. So thank you so much for having us. Awesome afternoon.
No, so you and your girlfriend, Vanessa, are here, and it was great. So we got to hang out beforehand and have a little chow and little libations and chill. And it's been fun. It's been fun.
Checked out that cellar that Lorenzo always sneaks into.
Yeah,
I heard about.
That's right. That's
not bad.
That's the cellar, but no Lorenzo. He's gone.
All the things Lorenzo's missing out on.
Lorenzo would be sitting where you're sitting right now, and he's not here. He's gone. He ended up. I really think he's at Lasertown. That's my best suspicion.
That's the leading consensus right now.
Because Saturday at KOH after race day, he was gone.
That's it.
Yeah, and where else would you go? Right? He's either at Cole's house or at Cody's house. I don't know.
Or he might be just lost out in the desert, just
figuring it out.
Yeah,
figuring it out.
Making his own.
Wishing he had a red dot instead of having to clop around on his own.
That's right. That's right. All right, so let's get into this. So let's hear this story. We talked about it before on the podcast from previous interviews with the WillSpec Garage team and everything. But how you came from Boston. You're Boston Kyle. Texas Jesus. You know all these people. You know Dave Cole and stuff.
Boston.
But you literally just like loaded up an RV and headed to Johnson Valley. So on a dirt bike, want to go catch air in California on a dirt bike. So
that was it.
So yeah. So lead us down that trail. I want to hear this freaking story from the horse's mouth of how you made it from Boston to California to Johnson Valley.
It's a culture shock from hell. Right?
It really is.
From the top. All right.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah. So, oh man. Okay. I don't know. I was, it's weird to think back. I was working security at a fish factory. Like I was there. I was sitting overnight at the front door
in Boston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like right downtown, like on the harbor.
Okay.
I worked midnight or 11 to 7 a.m., 11 to 8 a.m. I forget what it was.
So what'd you say? You said you had to make sure none of the fish swam away or something?
Yeah.
or
Make sure the
what?
fish are dead. It's just a building full of dead fish and nobody else inside. And I was just there to make sure the fish was dead.
The great escape.
But yeah, basically like 2 years before, like a pipe froze and broke and like filled the place with water.
Oh, okay.
And then like the next day they came in and it was like a big deal. And then so some owner or an owner's wife, I don't really know how it all worked
We
out.
need security.
Yeah, we need someone here at all times.
We need
Like,
eyes
yeah.
on the fish.
We need someone to
24/7.
we need someone to find out if the pipe breaks, you know. So
Okay.
I was sitting there, and then I was supposed to take my rounds, and like it was actually really cool because I would watch like a scary movie and like turn all the lights off and like just get really into the scary
Oh,
movie.
shit.
Yeah, like petrify myself, and then then I'd have to go on my rounds, which was through this like pitch black fish factory.
Warehouse full of
Yeah, and it was
dead fish.
and the whole thing was a refrigerator, so it was cold as hell.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and you had to like use your flashlight, and you had to check the. You had to like check the temperatures on the fridges and freezers, and like you had to look inside the rooms, and they were all pitch black inside with like fish and lobsters. And
There
all kinds
dead fish staring at you.
Oh yeah, like eyeballs and stuff. and I
Eyeballs
was,
glaring back in the mag light.
dude, and it was so scary. I was like, oh my god! I was like, you want to talk about a thrill? Like, I mean, it was sick.
That fish is looking at me, man.
It was like. It was sick. It was like 3 a.m. This dude's just getting like the craziest thrill by like walking around with a flashlight in a fish factory because he just watched a scary movie and he was like so scared.
Why would you even do that? To, like, psych yourself up like
I just
that?
had nothing else to do. I was
Welcome
bored
to
out of
the-
my mind.
Welcome to the inner workings of Kyle Seglin's brain
Yeah,
here.
let's
This
get
is
let's
great.
get rad.
Like
Let's
Jason from
get
Friday the
rad.
13th, how he got his start.
Let's make, I'm not gonna sit here bored out of my skull. Like let's find it. Let's find a way to make this cool. Let's find
And this
a
is
way to make
before cell phone, internet stuff so much.
He's not that goddamn
oh, he's
old.
not that old. Damn it.
Christ.
it was like
That'd be
2016.
my age, you know. I
Yeah,
mean,
like
shit.
that.
If I was,
It was 16.
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, and my truck had EFI. You know.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what year are we talking now? What year are we in?
16, man.
I know you're 16, but what year fucking in the world here? 2000
No,
what?
no. So it was cool. It was 2016. and I
Oh,
was-
2016. Oh, I thought you
Yeah,
said you were
the
16.
internet existed in 2016, Jason.
Oh,
it
shit.
really did.
I know it did.
They even had broadband.
Yep. Fuel injection, like, I had my air pumps on. Like,
Yeah, but
it
did
was
they have electric vehicles at that time?
barely?
Barely.
Actually, as a matter of fact, I was driving. My dad had bought a Ford Focus Electric. It was a 2013 model, and he had leased it, and we had it at the time. I did drive it to that job.
No shit.
And it was primarily for my sister to get to high school and back. And then sometimes when no one else was using it, it was essentially because I was night shift. It was a free ride for me to take it to go to work and back in Boston.
That's
so like,
great.
No, I've been driving electric cars for a while.
Just don't forget to plug.
so
Just don't
good.
forget to plug it in.
Yeah.
Did you tell a generator?
I would bring a huge ass extension cord so I could plug it in, and it would run it through the front door out to the parking lot and charge it overnight. And if I was driving there, I had to keep the heat off because if I ran
Right.
the heat, there's no way I would make it. So I just have to stay bundled up with my gloves on.
And we're talking
freezing
Boston,
in this little
yeah.
Oh
car.
This
shit!
is
No,
cold.
dude, I know. Yeah, no,
Oh, man,
I lived
that's
in New
great.
England. Yeah, it's cold as shit back there in the winter.
So I'd be leaving in the morning, and it only got 27 miles on it, and like I was 28 miles from home, so I'm like
was
barely
it a hybrid or was it all electric?
fully electric.
So you were screwed after 27 miles.
Well, I would just kind of, flap my
to work.
wings out the door, like, just like really
Fall
just
downhill.
yeah, hopes and prayers, and just not run the heat, not run the radio, not run anything to try to make it there.
No
like
headlights.
52 miles.
And then you have to work
in the
and
night.
you have to stare at dead fish.
Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
So I've been driving electric cars for a while. I was like, we were
Well,
the
there
first
you go.
one on the block with an electric car. We were all proud of that.
It was destiny. This
Yeah, and we
is
just
all-
been trying to, I mean, that I don't know if that's where it, kind of started, but that's been in my mind for a while. And then I was sitting at like 2 a.m. watching videos of like these guys jumping dirt bikes, and I love riding dirt bikes. Yeah, that's what I love to do.
Uh-huh.
And then they would hit in these jumps. I always loved jumping. None of my friends really were into it as much as I was, like, scaring yourself jumping.
Right.
Jumping like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
Watching these videos, and like I noticed that like they were all in the same spot, but they never posted where they were. They didn't want to blow it up.
Right.
So but I noticed, like, just by the terrain, that they were in the same place. And one kid, like, tagged Beaumont Hills, and I was like, Beaumont. So I tagged Beaumont, California.
There you
California,
go. Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, in the Google Maps, and I like started searching around, and I could see it. You could see it from Google
no shit,
Earth.
yeah.
You could see like all the trails, and I was like, oh, that's where I got to go. And there was like a camper, like a RV place right near there, like off of the hills. Like you could ride from the back of it, and it was cheap. And I already had a Toyota camper just for fun. I forget why I bought it.
Well,
It
it
was
just dolphin things or whatever.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
It was
Right,
a dolphin.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was a dolphin, and I cut the back off it and made it into a toy hauler, so you could ride dirt bikes right into the back of it. And I already had that, and I got this idea, and like I was 24, and I was like, I'll never get to go to California.
Wow.
So I don't know, let's just do it. So I sold my truck, I quit my job, I loaded my camper up with everything I owned and sold everything I didn't need out of my parents'
Do
place.
you miss the fish?
I don't miss I do love fish. Like I'm a big fan. It was a great job, by the way. Like it was pretty sick. They paid me to research my interests on the internet.
Yeah, there
like,
you go, right?
It was pretty sick. Like
Yeah,
it
right
just be there. Like it was dope. And then my girlfriend came with me, Vanessa. So she rode with me, and we went just kind of hobbling through the country. It was a cold snap at the time, so it was like.
And how old were you at that time? 18?
I was
19?
I was
20?
24.
Oh,
She was
24.
22, I think, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
So
And,
you're old enough to kind of
Just a bunch of young.
yeah,
Exploring the
still
world.
young.
An adult. I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
You're making adult
Old enough to
decisions.
buy whiskey at a liquor store anywhere in
Yeah.
the country.
Yeah, that type of thing. So I was like,
That's all that
I
matters.
just wanted to ride dirt bikes in California, and I
Okay.
thought, like, I didn't know how long it was going to last, but I was like, if I got to drive back or just sell everything, get a bus ticket, and go home,
Right. Right. What's going
But
on?
It's like, dude, I really wanted to get out there and do it, so decided to do it. So
Oh, yeah.
that's what. Yeah, and then so on the way to Beaumont, I knew that Lucas Murphy was racing that year, and he's from my area. He's from Easton, Mass, or he's actually from Martha's Vineyard, but he's from Easton, Mass. And
Easton.
yeah, that's
Been
right.
there,
It
done
touches
that.
Sharon.
Yeah,
It borders Sharon, Mass, where I'm from. And I had like loosely messaged him, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there. Can I give you a hand?" He's like, "Sure, if you're there, like jump
Sure.
in, went on." And I got to King, so I rolled up to King of the Hammers, and it's actually a little bit more to it. Like I didn't know where King of the Hammers was or how to get to Hammertown at all, so I went to Heroes Market and I asked them. And they were like, "Oh, it's just down Johnson Valley." And it's like, okay. So I started driving, and I blew right past Boone Road. Like I had no idea. I blew right past it. Like I had no idea where I was. And then, like eventually, I was just out in the middle of the 247, Old Ruin Springs. I took a random road, LaFawn Road. I had to take a poop. Right. So I just,
Wow.
I drove down this random road way
TMI.
out into the desert. Yeah. And like, took care of business, and I had a shovel.
Shit
It was,
happens, man.
Yeah, I took care of everything. And I was like, well, I'll just get on my 450 and go riding around. So I got on my dirt bike and started screaming around the desert, and I found it. I found King of the Hammers on my dirt bike. And I saw where they were setting everything up. And I was like, well, I was sitting there on my bike on the ridge, and I was like, well, I could either ride down there, and they're going to say, yeah, see you later, bud.
Get out of here, kid.
Yeah, exactly. Or I could go to town, get my laundry done, get some firewood, get a bunch of food and beer, everything I need for like a week, come back at night, and then they're probably going to be having a fire.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So I could roll up, and then even if they're going to say, get out of here, kid, they probably won't make me leave at night. So we can at least have a beer together, and they'll let me crash in my camper. I don't need anything. I'll stay in my camper. And then, I'll just park like right outside of their fence, and then just enjoy myself until
Right.
they say. So that was what I did. So I loaded up.
like a
I
legit
Good plan. Good plan.
Good plan.
Yeah, that's a solid plan.
Plan A, right?
came back at night, 8 o'clock ish, maybe 9, somewhere around there. And I rolled up, and there was a fire.
Did you have to
lo and
take a COVID
behold.
test or?
No, at the time,
Come on
no.
now, Chris. That was pre-COVID.
It was 17. Didn't need one of those. So.
Yeah.
Wasn't even a twinkle in our eye.
And then you know how everybody looks at you when you like roll up on a fire. Everyone was looking at me.
Yeah,
you know, there's
like,
like
who's this
20
guy?
people, 15 people.
Right.
So I hopped out of the truck. I said, "Hey, everybody! You know, my name's Kyle." And they was
How
like,
y'all doing?
Is this King of the Hammers? And they were like, "Yeah." And like I walked up, and like the first dude who was there, I was like, you know, the first guy who was closest to me. I was like, "Yeah, my name's Kyle, man. Like, just looking to saying hi." And he's like, "My name's Texas Jesus." and we shook hands, and he handed me a beer, and we hung out at the fire. And then I met Dave that night, and they were like, you know, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Well, I'd like to volunteer." And they were like, "Okay, you're in." Like, it's like, what do you want to do? I was like, "I want to work." "Okay, you can work." Like, that's okay.
You got a pulse?
And yeah. So then you know they fed me, and well, shit. Once you feed me, I'm in. Like I'm not. You can't keep me away now. Once you start feeding me, it's
so there you go. Now
I'm
you ain't leaving the house now.
I think they're going to be here tomorrow night. Now that's fine. Come on over. Dinner's at 6:30.
So once they fed me, it was game over. And then I worked. I never even saw Lucas Murphy the whole time.
My gosh.
The Ultra 4 had me so busy. I worked 40 days straight, and then after that, Dave was like,
40?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, getting ready.
Yeah, maybe a little less because I didn't get there quite at the beginning, but it was over 20 for sure.
Wow.
For sure. Between 20 and 30
Good
days
on
straight.
you.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah. And it was awesome. And then after that, it was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to go ride dirt bikes in Beaumont." He's like, "Well, you park for free at my house if you want, you know." And then I in exchange for work, and that's what we ended up.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what yeah.
And and you and Texas Jesus became best of friends there.
You're right about that.
Yeah, that's great. That's so cool. So little did you know at the time what this was going to turn into and where this was going to evolve, right? It's just some of the best things in life, you know. You get these experiences and you rolled the fucking dice. You're like, "Hey, I'm leaving Boston. I'm going to, you know, check this thing out, chase your dreams." And I love that. I love that.
Oh, for sure.
And look where it's led you to. So, okay, so you build this relationship. You're helping out at KOH 2017. Fill in a couple of the blanks here leading up to, you know, 2021 racing the first electric vehicle to compete at KOH. So how many, you know, from 17, I know you were down there entrenched in the KOH community, if you will, and helping out promoting that event and putting it on. And then where did it go from there? You know, how did it connect? Meeting up with, you know, the team that you got to create this electric vehicle?
Well, the last few months have been a fucking whirlwind.
Yeah, for sure.
To say the least.
Let me just put it that way. The last few months have really turned things on its head. But that said, I worked with Ultra 4 for about like a year and a half or so.
Okay.
And it was great. We put on obviously King of the Hammers, but then there's so many more races. I went to every single East Coast and West Coast race.
Wow.
I was a part of multiple Mexican races with the Score and Nora. We went to China.
Wow.
What?
Fuck yeah. We went to China, man. Like, it was friggin' crazy. Like, you wouldn't even believe.
Wow.
Man, that's a whole nother show.
Wait, that's a whole nother podcast right there. Okay, we'll have to do that
You
one.
gotta get me.
off on that
You gotta
one.
get me and Jesus like side by side
wouldn't
for
that be
that
great?
one. That we could tell you stories, man. Like
Jesus.
China was insane.
We got it. That would be a great freaking podcast.
Hell
right
yeah.
there.
Well,
I'm gonna make a note.
We got
Make
we
a
got-
note on that.
We got some 4-wheel drive stories about
Texas,
China.
Jesus. And
All right.
Kyle.
There's the Easter egg for future.
I couldn't tell it myself. I need a hand with that one.
in
Like,
China.
That would be
was-
great.
That one
Okay.
was nuts.
Wow.
got that.
Okay, it's written down.
Okay, perfect.
Went to China for 14 days, and then long story short, then I ended up working for Wayne at Alltech for like
Alltech Wayne.
2 weeks. Like I transitioned to working strictly for his company full time.
Okay.
Right when he kind of started out, he's been Alltech before, and then he kind of shut it up and
Sure.
then started it again. So I was there at the beginning of that second startup, as I understand it. And then my cousin was like, oh, you should come work with me at Tesla. And I was like, well, I don't have a degree. I don't know. He's like, dude, there's people on my shift that don't have degrees. Like, put your application in, I'll refer you.
Okay.
And then that came through, and they made me an offer, and I was like, well, that's what I have to do. So I moved up to Tracy, California.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I lived with him. We split a house and worked for a couple of years. Like that was 2 whole years there.
Wow.
And then, I've just doing my thing, learning a lot about automation. I was in the body and white side of vehicle production. So that basically means the unpainted body of the car. So we get random pieces of stamped steel that look like nothing, but by the time they go through the whole process, it's the body of the Model 3.
Wow.
Like you can see it, and then it's ready for paint.
Cool.
So that's where I was. Now I'm in the GA side of things, but then I was looking at making my 4Runner electric, so I bought a Nissan Leaf, and I was going to do that. And then I talked to Dave, and he's like, we're doing an EV class this year.
Okay.
I was like, oh shit, I got to make a race car. So, and then we looked at
first thing is I got to make a race car.
Yeah, and that's what I met. So I met Will my first day at one of my first days at Tesla. That's how I should say it. One of my first days at Tesla, I walked into the factory to take my position, and I had a King of the Hammer shirt on because duh. I always had a King of the Hammer shirt on, like hell yeah, this is what I wore. And he was like, "Yo, you go to King of the Hammers?" Like, okay, I go to King of the Hammers. I know a thing or two about it.
I know a thing or two.
I know a couple of people.
Yeah, I know about King of the Hammers. I've heard of it, and so we instantly hit it off. Like me and Will, and then and Jeff, like just like that. Like we wouldn't believe. Like we hit it off really good, and we've known each other all those 2 years.
Okay,
and hung out here and there. I was night shift; they were day shift, so it was kind of. But yeah, then we were going to build this car, and once it was going to be an electric race car, Will was like, "Yo, let's do it." And I was like, "But dude, I need to play." He's like, "Yo, my garage," and it was like
WillSpec Garage.
Yeah.
So it all started to come together right there.
Live it, love it, race it.
You got it.
So you guys were.
He was like on it, like let's do it, and I was like, "You sure, man? Like it's your place." He's like, "Dude, no, let's do it." Like.
I love his enthusiasm.
Absolutely.
He's all in. So that's cool. So that's how that relationships came about. I say relationships because you mentioned Jeff too. And then other people became involved in this whole, figuring this thing out, because you guys were doing something that nobody had ever done. And I love, I heard Will say it too. It's just proof of concept. It's like, hey, we're going to take a 4Runner, convert it into electric, and compete in King of the Hammers.
Yeah, well, a lot of that came to be because we were talking about how were we going to do this, and we needed a race car. Right? And we didn't have a race car. I had my 4Runner, but that's all it was. It was just a junk old 4Runner.
Bone stock.
It would take a long time to get it raced, where the cage, everything. And then I knew that Dave had his and his son's old 4Runner sitting in the weeds, and so I just floated him a text. I was like, dude, like, and that's literally what I said. Just floating this by you. What about making it electric? And I figured if he said like just call. I think his next words are call me.
Okay,
so I called him. He's like, do it. That's like exactly what he said. He's like, do it. I'm like, what? He's like, do it. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. And it's like that kind of support and coming from my buddy, that's my friend,
right? And
he's was just being like that for me, for my young race effort, my whatever I could put forth was like super supportive.
That's awesome.
That's can't even spell it. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. That's really, really cool. And I don't think we ruined it. We just electrified it.
No, but I mean, that's the forward thinking thing of it,
Yeah.
And is Dave Cole and Texas Jesus, Dave Cole specifically, thinking that, we have to continue to have King of the Hammers evolve.
Yeah.
And to what's the next evolution? What's the next round of technology or step? And, obviously with the electric cars becoming more prevalent, whether it's a Leaf or a Tesla or now with the Mach-E from Ford, and of course the Hummer and
glad you
the
mentioned the
Rivian
Ford.
and whatnots, it's here. It's here to stay. And so, I don't doubt that this was a good idea for him at all.
And he was saying it's good for the legacy of the car because originally Texas Jesus built it and they raced it in Mexico. Then his son raced it. Then another friend, David Ball, raced it with his friends. And then it was sitting there. And it's like, well, it could stay like this, or it could be transformed into
the reality is it would have sat there for the rest of its life. It would have been done.
Perhaps,
sad,
for sure.
Sad Toyota sitting in the weeds.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, let's wake it up. Let's give it a new life. It's still pretty sad. I'll give you that. Like that front end
is rough. It's rough.
It's whopped out, but guess what? It still mobs. It still mobs through the desert.
It does. I gotta, hand it to Dave too, in that, this thing has evolved so much more beyond, I can't even imagine where he thought it was going to go. And then to have the opportunity, to give you that opportunity of like, hey, let's do this. Let's make this happen.
For sure. And
again, you gotta, Dave's not he's a smart guy. He's not stupid. And he's like, okay, the sport of Ultra 4, and I call it a sport. It's a sport.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It has evolved so much, so quickly with all these great racers that are out there coming up with, because the course is so freaking difficult, right?
Right.
And the terrain, and it's like, we got to build a car that is a Swiss Army knife, which Levi Shirley, quoted.
Right, no doubt.
Whatever, it has to be, but... And so the technology that's come out of this, and then to say, hey, wait a minute, yes, we all love the alcohol burning V8s out there in the desert, but there's another entity here of electric that's up and coming, and let's see what electric can do out here. And to give you that opportunity and support it by one, creating a class, two, giving you a vehicle to convert over.
Right.
I mean, that's freaking awesome.
I definitely think and it is so awesome. And I definitely think where that comes from is just that we're friends. Like me and Dave are like really, really good friends. Like
cool.
we're basically like best friends. We are, along with a few other of my best friends. And it's sort of separate from the actual racing environment. It's just that he had this car,
right?
And we're best friends, and then he provided that chassis to us to do something really cool with it. And I think, and it's still his car. Like he wanted us to do it, and I think he's pretty happy with it. He drove it around.
Oh my god!
The last time we were down there, he was pretty stoked. He was like, "This thing's pretty sick. Like it goes good. Like it's fun to drive."
He ran out to meet you at the finish line. I mean, he was the first one to greet you at the finish line, right? He was so freaking stoked and ran up on stage. I was right there and watched how excited he was. I mean, it's just cool to see. Really cool to see.
I mean, and he loves all the racers too. Like it's not just
but he was. But this was special, I think.
Well, it was something different, and knowing you and
best
how
friends.
Exactly,
that's it.
That added to it. But here's the other thing too, like people that don't know Dave Cole personally, like Dave Cole. I mean, he's just a down to earth guy that got involved with this operation, and it turned into a monster. I mean, this Ultra 4 racing turned into a monster. And him being a business guy, has taken it to where it is today. And thank God. And again, I freaking give him high praise for making this race happen this year. But we all put our pants on one leg at a time, and you know him as a friend. But people that don't know Dave and how cool he is, and just like, hey, we're out here wheeling and having a good time, and he gets it. He freaking gets it, and he's not the businessman in the suit and the tie, which he could be based on how big this operation has gotten, but he's not. He's not that all that in a bag of chips attitude. And to realize that, hey, this is future shit. We got to grow this thing, and
Well, it might be the way it is in 10 years, 15
It
years.
is. And
You don't know. I mean, because you're talking about the state of California, the wonderful state of California,
Jesus.
wants to ban internal combustion engines by, 2035? And I mean, and then, of course, you've got manufacturers are jumping on board, GM, Volvo, Jaguar, Land Rover. They're all declaring that they're going to be all electric by, I don't know, whatever years they've declared their years to be. But this is the future.
So I think that we're trying to get ahead of that.
Yes.
Just like
Correct.
I've had conversations with Dave just like we're having right now.
Yeah.
It's like we want to be ahead of that. We want to be on the forefront of that. And I think that the way that you allow us, like the way that we're going to be allowed to recreate in the way that we want is by showing that we are trying to be either zero emission or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
right.
We need to show that we're putting our best foot forward. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we need to be zero emission by this year. We want to be able to showing that we're putting our best foot forward.
Yep.
However that looks like. And I think an easy way to do it is to have some EV race cars and then promote them as a series and be like, look, yeah, we have a carbon footprint. Like, we're going to have one for a while.
Sure.
Of course.
But as we go, we're already thinking that way, and we're already trying to offset it.
Forward
Like,
thinking.
because that's what's going to let us race.
Well,
Like,
that's what-
even if
that's
you
what
don't
keeps-
love
keeps-
it or think about it or like it, that's
Right.
what's going to let
Keeps
us
things
keep going.
alive,
Yeah.
because I mean, look at like Formula One racing. They have Formula E now. We were talking about it off the air, and it's the evolution, as we've said earlier. It's the evolution, and you have to survive, whether it's off-road racing or on-road racing or
Right.
motorcycles or whatever.
Right.
You have to evolve. You have to be ready for the future, and that's what you're doing, and it's killer.
We're trying. We're trying something.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is that I genuinely think that there's crazy advantages to be had with electrical cars. Like I think with when it comes to cooling, when it comes to the instant torque, when it comes to the instant or the unlimited tuning.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
sure.
yeah, there you go.
Sure.
You can tune the motor to do literally anything you could possibly think of.
Well, and they can tune it to how it responds to the pedal when you push it down. And
Yep.
is it going to be a progressive thing, or is it going to be like is it going to be a 0 and 1? You
Yeah.
know, you touch it and it's like you're full speed ahead, Captain.
Exactly.
Right. No, exactly. So, okay, so you've got this car. Dave set you up with it. Everything's falling into place. Will's involved. Gave you a garage to work on this thing. So then, walk us through this. Converting a clapped out 4Runner into EVE.
It actually wasn't that bad, really.
Okay.
Like, I mean, there was some times that it was kind of a little iffy, but we were
Dealing with high voltage battery packs.
Yeah. That's where Charlie Panagolinen stepped in big time.
Okay.
I can't say enough about Charlie. He helped us out so much with
And
when
who
we-
is he? How do you know him, or
So-
what's he do? What did he contribute?
So he met Will. He knows Will.
Okay.
And then I met him through Will at the shop about the electric car. And then so him and Will used to do racing in the past with the imports like Hondas.
Okay, yeah.
Drifting
And then,
and drag racing.
Well, drag racing,
drag racing.
drag racing Hondas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were into, with drag racing Hondas.
Okay.
And then he showed up one day, and Will's, I forget what Will said. Oh, I got a guy who wants to come and help. And instantly, like, he was right off the bat, wicked nice guy. Like, so, like, very easy. Like, we got along like just like that.
Okay.
But then when it came to the high voltage battery stuff, I did not really know what I was doing, and that's because I wanted to approach it from a safety standpoint. That would mean that it would
is
be
a good
very,
thing.
very slow for me to like get moving with it, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Sure.
So Charlie was able to jump in, and when we pulled the top off the first battery, I think he was there for he was there for the first battery that we pulled the top off of. And there's all these wires and cables,
Sure.
and, nuts and bolts. It's like, okay, shit, I don't know what to touch. Whoa, what do I do? Like,
These aren't D-cell batteries that I was expecting.
yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of juice here. So he was able to like coach me and be like, no, don't worry about it. You can put this wrench on this nut. It's okay. You can,
Just
because
don't put your
just
tongue
don't
on the
touch.
other nut.
Yeah, just don't touch that to that.
Yeah.
And here is why. And
Okay.
like, it mapped it out
Explained
for me.
it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and like so that catapulted our program by weeks. Like
Okay.
Sweet.
dead serious. He sped us up like nuts. Like you know, on what we were doing with the high voltage end. Can't say enough about Charlie.
That's great.
Really helped us out a lot. He missed Hammers due to work related stuff. He wants to be at the next one. You know, whatever. But it was. For sure, he helped us out so much, and then so we built a car. I don't know. We got down there.
Well, I know. So there was it was cool because Chris and I, came into the WillSpec Garage four times prior
I think
to
at least three.
yeah. And it was great to see the progress and again, you guys were working. There was no instruction manual. There was no blueprint or anything. It's like you got to figure the shit as it goes, and you're talking to people. But it was exciting for I know me, not speaking for Chris, but to walk in the very first time to see the concept, and you guys were talking about what you're doing and everything. Okay, cool. And then we came back, weeks later, and it was like, okay, shit, they figured this out. This is working and that. And then, you guys talked about your trial and tribulations. And it's like, yeah, we tried this didn't work. So now we're going this direction and stuff. And then it was like, okay, then it got into the battery packs and then looking at all these freaking wires and learning, it's not just a positive and a negative going to this motor, there's
more to it.
all these batteries need to talk to each other.
Cells, right?
Yeah, all the cells need to talk to each other and then talk to this, BMS, battery management system? Well, look at me. I learned some shit.
Holy shit.
Damn. So the BMS and then, it was cool. It was super cool because it was very interesting concept to me. And then, to learn how it went together and how you guys made it work and building the packs, the battery packs, to complete this race. So it was fun to be along on that journey from our standpoint.
Hell yeah.
And, I know you guys had a lot of freaking late nights. We walked in with some microphones and recording gear and chit chatted and had a few beers and a shot of whiskey and, we were out and it was great. But I was there with you guys, just incredible journey.
Yeah,
incredible journey.
It was, and it was, man. I mean, it was surreal. Like when we were on the lake bed with the car, like me and Will were definitely like, and if Charlie was there, and same as Mike or Jeff. Jeff was there.
Jeff was there.
A few others. Everybody who helped, you know who you are. It was definitely like, man, this was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, after we did it, it was like, wow, like this is awesome. Like we really, it was a lot of effort. And we had the best result we could,
Yeah.
It was like, that's what we tried to do and we did it. So
you completed your goal, but I know, when you got to the lake bed, well, just getting to the lake bed, it was tough for you to get to the lake bed.
Bro, that was 22 hours.
If our listeners aren't following, what's your Instagram handle?
I want to go fast.
I want to go fast.
8?
That was 20. I want to go fast 77.
77.
Yeah.
You should follow him because his journey to KOH is like all
look back on
documented
his feed and it just, a few miles from home, you broke a trailer leaf spring, right?
Not even it was a mile and a half
shit.
after we left Will's. We loaded up. And we didn't even get on the highway yet, and we were at a stop. We heard a really loud pop when we were leaving Will's area, and I got out, and I was like, "Well, did you hear that?" I was like, "No, I don't know." I was like, I looked out, I couldn't see anything. Kept moving, got up to a red light, and then bam! And I was like, "What the?"
That ain't right.
I jumped out, and I took a flashlight, and I looked at the leaf springs, and the shackles broke on the
Just
trailer.
gone.
Shit.
And so it was, I didn't want to turn because of how heavy
it put
it was.
stress on it. Yeah.
I had a full race car with 1,000 pounds of batteries and a razor. So I didn't want to turn. I already knew there was a U-Haul straight ahead. And it was just a somewhat easy left to get into it. So that's what I went for. And they were super kind. It was the end of their day. And I was like, yo, can I you know, they were super cool.
Can I break down here?
Yeah, exactly. that's what.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
You mind if I'm broken down here for a little while? And they were like, you know, I got them, and they was like, yeah, just got to try to get out of here before we wake up in the morning, you know, or before the place opens in the morning. And I was like, yeah, we could do that, you know. And
Okay.
yeah. So, and they were like, yeah, we don't want you on the road not safe. That was their thing. And I was like,
cool.
Thank you. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like,
I got a long ways to go.
So we unloaded the race car in their driveway, in their parking lot, and I don't think anyone knew what the hell it was because it had the skinny little front tires on it and like shit strapped all over it. It was like, I don't think anyone knew what they were looking at, and we unloaded it so I could maneuver it lightly.
Sure.
Sam's, what was it? Yeah, this guy Sam showed up. It was just Sam.
Repair.
Sam's trailer repair. He showed up at 10 o'clock at night, and he worked till 1. Oh yeah, like he showed up with this big diesel dually van with like a huge compressor. It was ridiculous. And he was a nice guy. He was like 300 pounds and 5 foot tall. He was like a bowling ball. Wow! Like this dude was the guy you need to fix your trailer.
Wow!
In the middle of the night,
You knew you were in good hands. He rolled out.
As soon as I shook his hand and said, "Hey," he was very nice. And I was like, dude. I was like, oh man, that is exactly who I need. Like, I know that the trailer is going to be fixed after Sam is done with it. Like, it's not like, and he got to where, and I asked him if he needed anything. Could I help him? Did he need tools? He's like, no, leave me alone. I was like, perfect. I'm going to go work on my truck. So I put the last airbag on my truck because I only had one airbag on because that's the only time I had was to put one on before we tried to leave. So I was able to, I had all the tools and I put the airbag on the other side. And so now I had 2 airbags in my truck like you're supposed to.
That's great.
And then Sam fixed the trailer. But even still, then we had a flat like 10 minutes later. We got going on the highway.
You
flat.
think you're set. Yeah, and then
I got a flat, fixed it. So now it's like 2:30, 3 in the morning. We drove for a little while. We had no spare now. And then woke up and drove for a while. Got our spare fixed in Bakersfield.
Okay.
Good thing.
Good old B-Town.
Yep. Bakersfield had what we needed.
Okay.
And then we were coming into Hammertown we were at Boone Road, there. Like everyone was taking
fucking Boone Road.
Taking lefts. Everyone was taking lefts on a Boone Road.
Yeah.
Everybody
it's all good.
And then pop, and I look back and blowout, and we pull over on the street. It's a Johnson Valley sign.
Yeah.
To the market or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
That's the road we pulled on. We were that close, and we changed our trailer spare then, so we had 2 blowouts. Got it done. Got in then after that.
Did you rig a triple?
Oh man, no. Well, we kept fixing it like after
you have triple
popped
axles on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was triple axle. Yeah, and like so we just overloaded probably is what.
Yeah, but
Too many damn batteries.
like everybody else out there.
Yeah, so I don't know. That was a hell of a ride to get down there.
I know. We kept asking, is Kyle here yet? Is Kyle here? No, he's on his way. And then we were watching the
going 20
Instagram
miles
feed,
per
and
hour.
it's like, holy shit! Oh shit! He just blew another tire, and then
Send up a flare! Send up a flare!
we kept coming into the Orabama camp, and they're like, nope, not here yet. Nope, not here yet. And I'm like, oh shit, man, that was brutal.
Man. So you made it. We know you
Yeah,
made it.
so you made it.
It did make it. Yeah.
So yeah,
And
awesome.
then you had some charging issues with one battery pack or something.
So what happened was everything was all hunky dory.
Yeah.
And we were the way the electric vehicle charge controller works, the EVCC, is that it needs to see 12 volts to power it. Mm-hmm. That's how the little computer is powered, and then it goes ahead and does its thing. Well, I don't know. I'm always looking for an edge, right? I'm always looking for an edge. So the generator I have has a 12 foot 12-volt
12-volt output.
output.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just like charge a battery to jumpstart a car or whatever.
Is that like 1.21 gigawatts?
Yeah, it has one of those. It has a 1.21 gigawatt
Little
output.
flux capacitor going on.
And so, like, just because instead of connecting it to the car battery I had, I was like, oh, I'll just connect it to that.
Okay.
Because then it's all powered off of the generator, and maybe, it's a step towards slimlining things or streamlining things.
Sure.
And then it was working. It was working great. And I had my laptop pulled up and we were charging batteries. And I was like, oh, charge a little faster, please. I turned the amps from 17 to 22 or whatever I typed.
Right.
I was like, okay, go faster now. Bam. Hit enter. The generator bogged down and it was like, and it let go. It oversurged. And that's fine. I've done that a million times up till now. Like that's when you oversurge it, then you'd be like, "Oh, that was a little too much." So instead of you back it down a little bit. Go on my laptop and go, "Oh, 20 instead, please," and you hit enter, and then it didn't do it again. It wasn't working anymore. And what
you broke it?
I broke it. So. That generator, cheap generator, oversurged the 12 volts to too much 12 volts or 20 volts or whatever it did.
You can't handle the
Torques.
Oh, man, they could not handle. There was a lot of business being thrown out of those 12 volt. A lot of business. Yeah, could not handle the torques.
Okay.
And so... Oh, that's how I felt, though. I was like, shit. Oh, my God, man. And we couldn't get it to charge, so I called Zeph over. I was like, Zeph was my homie at Orabama, and he's I bounced so many ideas off him. He supplied the plates for to connect the motor to the transmission.
Right.
Zeph, when people say, like, they get a group of friends that say, oh, we have an engineer. We don't say that. We say we have a Zeph.
We have a Zeph.
We have a Zeph. Like, Zeph knows what's up. Like, he can, if you got an issue.
Zeph knows.
Come up with the issue, explain it in plain words, and Zeph will very likely solve it for you. Like, he's good at it. Yeah. So so I had Zeph come over, and we tried to, solve the issue. So we went all the way to breaking open into the printed circuit board and trying to find where it burnt inside the computer and solder it together. And we did that.
In the desert.
Oh yeah. We were doing like computer science shit in the desert, and we were like, we were trying to get it to work. We were just like, okay, maybe we can get it working. And then like everything we did, it just kept moving the problem throughout the circuit board. And it's like, okay, it's just pissed. Like, it's not.
The
it doesn't.
Board's pissed.
Yeah, the circuit board's pissed. Like,
Not good.
So we were able to overnight one, and it came in. So many hours. It came in less than 2 days. We were able to overnight it to
Wow.
to Wheeler's Ship It Shop. So I got Thunderstruck on the phone, the guys up here in Santa Rosa, California. And they, and I got them on the phone, and I was like, this is what I need. And like I was able to tell them personally, I was like, we need this like now.
I can't explain. Yeah, I can't explain this anymore.
And they know me. Like I talked to them a lot during the build of the car.
Yeah.
And I bought a lot of stuff from them. I have to be their best customer.
Yeah.
This is like no way. I'm not their best customer. So
do you know that we're building a race car?
Yeah.
I tried to explain it to him.
He still batteries.
He still didn't get it. He was like, "Oh, that's cool, I guess." And I was like,
"No, you don't understand. We're building a race car to drive in the rocks."
So to interject
batteries.
real quick, I heard that UPS delivers on the lake bed. Is that true? You would know this, but you had to have it delivered outside the lake bed.
I had it delivered to Wheeler Ship It Shop.
Okay.
I don't know about UPS delivering to Lake Bed.
Because I've heard rumors of that, and like, oh yeah, UPS, they deliver. It's got its own zip code, and I'm like, well, I don't have very.
I have heard that Hammertown
that.
gets a temporary zip code.
Okay,
I have heard that.
Huh.
I've never used it.
Okay,
whenever I've had things shipped, I have it shipped to Wheeler Ship It Shop.
We need to try that next year and see if we can have some Old Elk bourbon delivered.
Just something, to see.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, just to see. Okay.
Yeah. And whenever I'm in there at Wheeler's, I always buy a bag of peanuts too.
Support local, right?
Yeah. And they have jams too, like strawberry jams.
No shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah. Always.
All right, we gotta make a trip out there next
to
year.
Wheeler's.
Yeah.
How far is that from the?
It's right there,
Boone Road.
When you come out of Boone Road, like if you're leaving Boone, leaving,
Boone
you take a
Road.
left, like towards Yucca.
Yeah.
And it's right on your right. It's one of the first places, so to speak. Yeah, it's super close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's the YJ.
that's good to know.
barbecue
that's
pit.
where I have my stuff shipped to for sure.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, I thought about that. I had to interject there.
Fucking
Yeah,
boom
they're
room.
awesome folks in there.
So you get your circuit board that was not happy. You get a new circuit board.
Yep. And then everything was golden, no
Yeah.
problems. And
Yeah.
charging like normal. And my cousin Matt, he jumped in as a pit chief and really learned the battery system quick. He's a bright guy. Like he picked it up really quick. And that way I was able to, it made it very easy to forget about that
Right.
while I was driving.
Right.
I know they could figure it out between him and Jeff and Paul and a few others. Like I knew that they could handle it.
Yeah.
Like, even if there was a problem,
Yeah,
they could
that's
fix
cool.
it. They're
That's cool.
Bright folks, good team that they could get the battery charging.
Okay.
again.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really not that complicated, really.
Well,
Yeah, but it's just another one of the hurdles that you had to jump over in
Sure.
the process of
But-
getting to the start finish line.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you say it's not complicated, but it's freaking computers. It's
Freaking
ones
rocket-
and zeros. There's
rocket science,
electricity.
man.
I mean, it's a different thing, right? I mean,
It's not gasoline and
it's not.
injectors.
But
It's
you
a
know,
little
there's
different.
just people that know their stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. Well, no, it is a big freaking deal because you're dealing with freaking electrons and shit, and it's
high voltage electrons.
Yeah, it is, and that's
And Kyle, you experienced a little bit of that wrath.
Zing zing.
zing zing zing.
It's just no joke,
Yeah.
apparently.
Guess what? If you got it wrong, it's really, really wrong.
So you're 400 volts and how many amps?
1 million.
Because the amps are what kills. The volts just give you a little zing zing, but
Amps- So when the motor is wide open, it's like I think it's under 250 amps.
Okay.
Don't quote me on
Okay.
that. But I mean, sort of the amps are like kind of like, oh geez, now I'm gonna make a fool of myself.
No,
Not
no, I'm sorry, I didn't put you on the
No, no,
spot
no,
here.
no, no. But I guess I couldn't say exactly how sure I am about it, but it's sort of how well of a circuit you make.
yeah, yeah.
So if you make a really good circuit, you're gonna feel a lot of juice. If you make
Is
a
your hand
very
a good circuit?
at that point. So here's the thing: I never completed the circuit.
Okay, good.
My
Probably a good
my body never completed the
That's
circuit.
good. That's
I was
good.
just holding two wires that were very pissed about the circuit I was trying to make, and they expressed themselves by
Arcing.
yeah. There was a lot going on in a very short amount of time, and that flash and that molten metal and that molten plastic is what burnt my hand. But I didn't feel a shock through my body.
Okay.
Well, we're
okay.
happy that it was just superficial.
What do you mean?
We're happy that it was superficial.
Oh yeah. It didn't actually ruin my hand.
Yeah, you didn't have to have skin grafts and
It was
shit.
second degree burns.
Yeah.
Like it was
Serious, but
Yeah.
not permanent.
It's good now.
Yeah,
Like,
looks
it's fine.
good. Looks good
yeah.
from here.
No problem.
You can be a
Yeah.
hand model.
I was.
Hand model.
I don't know about these. I don't know about these mitts. These mitts are pretty messed up. But no, I'll keep working. Yeah,
There you go.
I'll keep trying to mess them up. I'll find a way. So we've been putting ever since then. We all learned something as a team, and it's like we knew about it going into it, but we got complacent. And then from there on, it was like every single time, even if you know what you're doing, even if you know what's right, if you're dealing with high voltage and you're taking a connection on and off, put your damn gloves on.
Right.
And so I bought, there was like 12 pairs of gloves, and they are all around the car, all around the pit crew, all
Yeah.
around my trailer.
Yeah.
They are available. Like, put your freaking gloves on. Just have them on in case there is an issue that you don't know about.
Right. Well,
So
for
that's
sure.
that's something. That's how we matured as a team. We learned something. We don't want to make the same mistake twice.
No,
Well, and that's
learning from your
learning
mistakes
right
is
there. You know,
exactly right.
that's a big life lesson in anything. It's like, hey, don't make the same mistake twice. We're all human. We're going to make mistakes, but you make the same mistake twice.
Shame on you.
Yeah, you're
Right.
You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
I got a little learning bite. It told me, hey,
Yeah.
pay attention. So,
So
Yeah.
this is
so from now on, we want to make sure to do it a little bit better.
for sure, and exactly. So just dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So
yeah.
I know that the march to the lake bed for King of the Hammers 2021 was fraught with challenges and and a little bit of maybe bloodshed or scorched skin.
A little bit.
But once you got there, after flat tires and broken suspension on the trailer, you were joined by your sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Dahlia.
let's talk about Dahlia.
I call it Dahlia.
Dahlia?
But it's spelt like Dahlia.
Okay.
So she was your.
I don't know. No one knows.
She was your co-driver for the race in the in E.V.E.
Yep.
And we're gonna beam her in here real quick. We have this fancy.
We have the technology. Look at Chris down here with all these buttons and stuff.
Buttons
Doesn't he
and
look like he
knobs
knows
and
what he's
levers.
doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. I got a red button that says push me, and that's all good.
Push me, pull me, push me, pull me. Jesus. Okay.
Push me,
So
pull me.
let's ring in Dahlia and let's get her. Let's start chatting with her a little bit about their perspective.
Okay, let's do that. Is that my cue to call her?
Hell yeah.
Okay, here we
And
go.
through the magic
Get
of
it going.
technology, we'll edit.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to call her.
She was a easy go to because she's so rad. She's just like wicked rad and good at stuff, and
Hopefully
I just like hanging out with her. But then also that way I didn't have to pick one of the crew.
Right?
Yeah.
No, she was cool. I
Smart.
super
I don't
wish
know if
I
that's-
wish I hadn't had to leave, and I would have loved to have hung out a little bit more at KOH. That would have been killer. But
Okay, look. Oh, it's coming through, huh?
Now it
Yeah, I
goes.
hear it.
Yeah.
she probably fell asleep.
I know.
Oh, I hope she's still up. I think she's got us. She's probably
Do they have cell phones in St. Croix?
St. Croix.
so.
Hello.
Is that international?
You guys shit. You guys took too long.
Hello.
Hello. All right, so we are here. We got the power of technology here. This fancy board with all the lights in front of Chris. We got Dahlia on the phone. Kyle's sister is here. Hey, thanks for joining us. And what part of the world are you in right now?
Right now I'm in St. Croix.
St. Croix.
Love St.
Yes,
Croix.
sitting on the beach. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. You're just living the life.
What's it like 80
Yeah.
degrees there?
At least, yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Snorkeling today. Yeah.
Oh,
Just
I'm
miserable down here. Sunny all day.
so jealous. Good for you. Good for freaking you. So, let's get into your brother just like called you up and says, "Hey, you want to race?" Or how did this all come about for KOH and E.V.E class here?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. he had been talking about, taking a truck and making it electric, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know it was really going on and going to happen.
Right. You're like, oh, that's a good idea.
And then all of a sudden he starts making moves. He met up with WillSpec, and things were falling in line. And next thing I know, he called me and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing for King of the Hammers 2021?"
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I'm going to be there if that's what you're asking. He's like, "Would you want to drive with me?" I'm like, "Absolutely. Of course."
That's so
yeah,
cool.
it was a definite yes for me.
Right on.
No hesitation.
So you were in from the get-go. You didn't know what you were getting yourself into, though, did you?
No, but I trusted Kyle. As the rest of the team, we put our faith in Kyle, and it worked out.
That's a cool statement right there, right? It's like, okay, it's my brother, and he's not going to steer me wrong. Let's do this. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I was, getting updates along the way, and just kind of FaceTiming in, seeing what the guys were up to, and it was also really interesting. I thought it was really cool, and to be a part of it, I thought it was just, I was really lucky, and I jumped on the opportunity.
For sure. No, that's awesome. I love that. So what were your expectations going into the race, and what was your experience of the race? Did it match your expectations?
I'd say it did. It was, I'd say it was longer. It felt longer. So I'm told it's going to be 76 miles.
Okay.
And to me, that's like, what, an hour and a half on the
Right.
Oh, you're on the highway just cruising with the tunes. Got some chips and a
electric
soda.
truck.
Well, air conditioned seat. No.
Yeah. Yep. It was quite different.
It took us forever. It was so long. The last part was fun, though. We were taking a little extra time because it was fun. We were enjoying it.
Yeah. But
so what did your brother tell you about
it was awesome.
What did your brother tell you about the race prior to getting in the car, per se? What did he prep you at all, or was it just like, here, put this helmet on and get in and strap in?
No, we were prepped. We were in there amping each other up, trying to keep the energy up, and we're both really excited and everything, and he's kind of just explaining to me, the GPS, and that's kind of my job, and keeping us on the track is the most important thing. So
you had the GPS. You also had the switch to the water pump to cool the motor and the what do you call that? Inverter. Yeah, down. So you those were your two jobs.
Well,
yep.
Also, this was Dahlia's fourth King of the Hammers. Was it your fourth, Dahlia?
My third.
Your third? Yeah,
my third.
She's been there.
So you knew what you were coming into. You knew you were out on the outer edges of California and in a remote, very cool, but very Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome area, and the so you've seen what King of the Hammers is all about, and just killer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, offer. Okay, good. I didn't.
Which is why I was so excited to say yes. I was really happy you asked me.
Okay, so that makes more sense to me because if Kyle just says, hey, you want to do this race and it's out in the desert in California. Okay, that sounds kind of cool, But then if you didn't know anything about King of the Hammers going into it, and then you show up at King of the Hammers and go, holy hell, what is going on out here in the middle of the desert?
I think everyone does that every year.
The first time. Yeah. I've been like 9 times or something, and I'm still amazed every time I drive in on Boone Road and see the chaos ensue.
So fun.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but no,
so exciting.
This is really
every
a
single
family
time.
thing for us,
Yeah. And then the family is there, and I got to meet your dad, and that was cool. So you were all in. You knew what you were getting into, but you didn't. You didn't know exactly the race situation of like, okay, going 70, 80 some odd miles through the desert in an electric vehicle.
I mean, we had brought our own toys, and I've done my own sort of off-roading, but never anything. I had only ever spectated the racing part, so I didn't know what that entailed. But I mean, I had a general idea, so
that's
I was ready for it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, so walk us through. You're suiting up and strapping on the helmet for race day, and you sit in this vehicle with your brother, and of course you got faith in your brother that built this car, and it's like, okay, we're going to go hammer through the desert right now. What was your thoughts as you were getting into this car and leading up, because you got all these people, and your car was unique because it was the only electric vehicle competing. So there was a lot of publicity surrounding it. And so there's a lot of people, you guys, lined up in Hammertown and then headed out the track. So what was going through your mind, or just kind of walk me through that experience of just sitting in the car and all these media people taking your picture and, following your story per se.
Yeah, right. Well, you could really feel that, all the support around us, especially with our family, was all there, supporting us. And then Dave Cole was all excited, he was there right next to us when we were about to take off, and it was just really exciting atmosphere.
Yeah.
But it just felt really great to be there, and that we had made it that far, not to make it belittle it or anything, but it's the first electric vehicle
for sure
in the whole King of the Hammers, so
absolutely, it
just felt like an accomplishment to even be there. And then we get to the race line, and our sister's there with the flag. It was just so much,
so
excitement and pride. It just felt so really good. Cool. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and Heather waved us off.
Yeah,
Heather waved the green flag for us, and it was it was cool as hell.
That is so cool. And then so you guys head out. You head out of Hammertown, and now you're on your own. Everybody's
With
there
style,
supporting
too.
you.
He nailed that first jump.
Yeah.
And,
Just try not to
good.
break
Then we
it.
took off.
I was like, don't break it on the first jump.
Were you making vroom vroom sounds or anything?
Right? I don't know. I think we were both still pretty quiet. We were just like, let's just get out of Hammertown. I just want to get out of Hammertown. Don't break now. Don't break.
Get me out of Hammertown. Get me out of the camera.
I can break around the corner. It's fine. I just don't want to break right here.
Making it to the start line was a huge accomplishment.
Yes.
I mean, it's like that was one of your goals, right? I mean, obviously finishing is the ultimate goal, but just getting to the line and starting.
It just felt so good to even get there,
Yep, it was.
Super cool.
But then the part about the noise, too, it's like it's almost cooler that way. You know, it's something different. Like the spectators, you know, they're expecting the engine sound and the revving, and then we come there, and it's like
nothing.
You know, so silent. Yeah.
Right.
It was very cool. And Dave Cole, he made sure we took off alone, too. He's like, I want everyone here to know this is an electric vehicle.
Exactly.
And we took off.
And that was
it was really cool.
That was very cool.
Super supportive. Always.
Yeah. And so you get out there and you're racing. I mean, you're on the race course and going through this thing, and it's like, you know,
the first part we didn't even have a GPS. Like,
really,
we never downloaded the lead down. So we were just driving by the course, like just by looking for arrows and ruts, like.
All the dust in the air.
Yeah, we were both just hanging on, like, all right, here we go. Does that look like that way? Yeah, I knew most of it outside of Hammertown, but then hilarious. After we got over the hill, it's like I don't know. I mean, we go to the salt flat, and then we take a right, and then hopefully we'll see something that makes sense on the other side. Like, I don't know what we're looking for. Like,
now we're getting the rest of the story.
That is so good. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, this is great. Because this is reality, you know?
No, for sure.
It was super fun,
we did get turned around once.
Okay.
Yep. Somebody helped us out.
We got right back on.
We had that, like, one really steep climb outside of Hammertown where there was another Forerunner that had a 22R in it.
Okay.
And they were like stuck on it.
Uh-oh.
And I knew that we'd have trouble with it. So we gave it the business, but it got stuck. And we had to try again, and then it got stuck again. And then so Dale, what did we do? We put it in 4 low and put the front and rear lockers on, but
Can't handle the
Torques.
but this hill could not handle the torques. We ripped right up. Once we got it in 4 low with 3-wheel drive, because we never had 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Put it in 3-wheel drive. It ripped right up. Like it went like no problem.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun.
Cool.
So why didn't you have 4-wheel drive? What was wrong?
During pre-running and testing the car before the race, we found an issue where the front right CV was pulling out of the differential.
Okay.
And then what happened was at one point, I don't know when, it ruined that part. It ruined the
splines?
The splines or anything? Yeah.
The splines that go into the diff got like shaved off and ruined.
Gone.
So now there was like no way to really fix it.
Yeah.
And the race was tomorrow, and it's like, well,
we're gonna run it.
Yeah, send it. Like,
Yeah.
Just send it in 3-wheel drive.
It's lap 1. It's not the rocks. You should be okay.
True.
Just if you need it, you only got 3-wheel drive, buckshot. You know, get out there.
Right on.
So and it worked.
Yeah. You made it.
Yeah.
We got their Cougar boots, too.
Yeah. And Cougar
3-wheel drive.
Yeah. Cougar Buttes is not a joke. I mean, there's some serious rock crawling
It
in
looked
that
legit,
area.
and especially with the wadding that was going on there.
There's a lot of rollovers in that area.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were passing a few people dead in the water.
Passed a bunch.
I mean, that felt kind of good.
It felt good, huh? Yeah, you're sitting there going like, hell yeah, we're racing and we're passing people.
Vroom, vroom.
I love it.
Yep, we weren't the last.
No.
We weren't the last for sure.
That's cool.
That's cool.
It was
Nice.
sick. It was sick, yeah.
So was there any point through the race there, Dahlia, that you were like, oh man, I shouldn't have sat in this right seat, or like, oh no, this is freaking super
No,
cool.
not at all.
No, see,
not at all.
I love it. You're
No,
in it to win
it was
it.
awesome the
She's a
whole
player.
time.
Yeah. I mean,
We just kept the energy up. It was great.
Yeah, so I was talking to Kyle earlier, and he was saying, you guys didn't have comms because obviously you didn't have this crazy loud V8 engine, but it's a race, and there's a lot of clanging and banging going on and stuff, and clanging and banging, and you got to like yell at each other to talk to each other. So the conversations in the car, I always love to hear the conversations between driver and co-driver, and it's just trying to keep the mood up when you're out in the middle of nowhere or whatever. So how did that all go?
It was good. I mean, like I said, we were both just really excited. There's just the energy in the car was just really high, and it just felt so good to be there. And we just kept kind of talking about that. We're like, holy shit, we're here,
It's happening.
We're doing
it's
it.
happening.
We're racing King of the Hammers.
It's happening.
I remember there was more than once you were like, this is actually really pretty out here. Like the mountains and the landscape is like, and I was like, you're totally right. Like this is beautiful.
So that's a great perspective.
Oh yeah.
Your sister's like checking out the scenery and like, this is a cool experience. And Kyle, you're more focused on like let's get this thing freaking racing and get it across the finish line,
Dahlia
right?
didn't have a GPS to look at.
No, so she's looking at the scenery. I love it.
No, I'm like, oh, look at that Joshua tree. That one's really pretty.
Isn't that the same Joshua tree we passed a little while back?
Well, we were only going like 14 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So
we
had plenty of time to there's snow caps on the mountains in the back, and it's like, oh yeah, this is beautiful. Like this is a really nice place to race. Like this is gorgeous.
But she's right.
To put things into perspective, I mean that's super cool, and that's what I'm talking about. Is like these are the stories that you don't see on the live stream and stuff. They're all concentrating on who's in first, what's going on, who's broken down, but. To hear these stories, that this is what we're talking about here.
Who's
That's
in first?
great.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right. So, you're out there having a good time, soaking in the scenery and all that.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't wreck the car. That was the whole thing. Is like, if we go too fast, we'll probably break it.
Yeah.
And we don't have anyone to beat but ourselves. So we might as well just go kind of slow.
Right.
And win. Like our own class.
Right.
Like we're either going to lose because we broke it, or we're going to go slow and get it across the finish line.
Right.
Was there any point, and this question is for Dahlia and Kyle, that you were like, holy shit, this might be the end of our day, or something's not right, or anything, or was it pretty smooth all day?
Oh yeah, so it's funny that you say that. 'Cause
boy, you opened a can
Kyle
of worms
had
there.
forgotten. He had forgotten that we gotta maybe take it easy, and
I got a
we
little
hit
hot
this
on it.
one good whip, and all of a sudden the steering's gone.
Oh
boy.
Happened
And he had
fast.
just been saying, maybe I should slow down a little bit. And then, bam, the steering's gone.
Was this after? This is after remote pit 1.
Right after remote pit 1.
Yeah, right after.
Couple of miles, and snapped the steering, and it looked like it was gonna be pretty complicated. And we tried to use a breaker bar and a ratchet strap, and that was like not
happening.
And the drone was right over you a lot of that time.
Yeah.
Oh, we heard it.
We heard it.
It was on camera.
I was watching
I'm like, let's
it.
look professional as we ratchet strap this breaker bar right on there.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm like, maybe they won't know what we're doing.
Hey,
You
that's
gotta do
all
what
part
you
of
gotta do.
racing. Yeah.
Yeah, and we knew it when we were making it. It's like, this is not a good fix. Like,
Right.
If this works at all, that would be amazing. And
Right.
guess what? Didn't work at all.
It didn't work.
It didn't work at all. Like,
You're doing it wrong.
Well, no, you got to work with what you got,
Oh,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
no,
that's
for sure.
that's part of the great thing about this race is just making freaking
Improvise and
lemonade
solve
out of
problems.
freaking lemonades.
Yeah.
Get your junk back together.
Make it happen, Captain.
Yeah.
We tried to keep moving. We got to the next broken down car, and the steering was so bad, it was like, let's just stop.
Yeah.
And then at that point, he had more tools that was letting us use. At that point, the bag that we were given to take to another broken down car,
Right.
we took a look at. So when we were leaving remote pit 1, another pit crew walked up to us, and the guy was like, hey, you guys moving? We were like, yep. He's like, will you take this bag of tools to the broken down red, white, and blue car? We said, sure. So we peeled out, and then we didn't find it the first time we were broken down. The second time we stopped, that bag fell open. Or we looked in it. I don't know. I don't really know.
Falling open.
I don't know however it happened, but we took a look in the bag, and there was this steering clevis that was like exactly what we need. And at first, I didn't even know it because the bolt was different. And I was like, "Whoa, that's close to what we need." And like I was looking at the other tools, and Dahlia took a look at it. She's like, "God, we could fix it with this." And I was like,
Wow.
what?" And
Wow. How fortuitous.
we bolted it back together, and we used a spacer, like whatever. Anyways, the
We
part
made it
is,
work.
Yeah.
the part that was
Although
in
we
that
did have
bag,
a quick moral dilemma
Uh-oh.
of using it, but then we're like, well, we have to use it to get it to him, you know?
Yeah, so the moral dilemma was that these parts were given to you to give to another race car, but yet you needed
Yeah.
the parts that were in this bag
To
you're
get
like,
to
even
the
get
other
it back.
racer.
to the other race car. So that's
Yeah.
so this is
We're
a minor
still-
moral dilemma, but you got to the other race car.
we got there, we rolled up, and his car was broken on the side of the road, and he was standing there. He's
Like,
like,
we
"You
got
got
a
the
gift box
you got the
for you."
parts? You got
We
the
got
parts?"
Amazon.
And I was like, "Dude,
box
we
full of
used
smiles.
the part. We used it." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Dude, our steering broke. Like, and we put it on the car."
You wouldn't have shit if our steering wasn't fixed.
Right, exactly. We wouldn't have made it here.
To fix the car, and he was like, he thought for a second, and he's like, "Get out of here, go have fun."
That's
I was
so
like,
cool.
What are you talking about, man? He's like, "Yo, you guys are moving, you're having a good day. Get out of here, we'll figure it out or whatever. Have your car's together." And
Was he able to fix his stuff?
well, that's what I said. I was like, wait, hang on, man. It's your part.
Yeah.
Let me pull over. I'll pull over. We pull over next to your car. Let's see if we can figure you out. Let's get it going. And then turns out, like
KOH
before they,
family, man.
yeah,
Ultra
before
race,
they even
baby.
got there, because they were walking down from the hill, so to speak, and I parked next to the car. I ran out, looked at his car. He needed a Heim joint, and I looked in the bag. There were 2 Heim joints in the bag.
Perfect.
So, and I was like, "Dude, this is what you need." And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I need." And I was like, "Oh no, I borrowed a steering clevis. That's what's on my car now."
Right.
The team just threw that clevis in the bag as like a
bonus
extra.
part. Yeah,
Extra.
you might
Yeah.
need this.
It was
That
meant
was
to
the
be.
one
Yeah.
part that we needed.
Isn't that insane?
Oh man, like
Crazy.
you
I
I
couldn't
mean, without
even,
that part, you wouldn't have finished the race, right?
probably not.
No,
Yeah.
we wouldn't.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Look
we,
at- see, your
or
sister's all,
some
nope.
kind of welding.
meant to be.
We would have had to find another team that had welding rods.
Uh-huh.
What are you talking about? You
and-
had batteries up the wazoo. You could have
Oh
welded.
no, I know, but we didn't have any welding rods. Like, we could have done it. Like, I mean,
Had plenty of power, but no welding rods.
like even then, like no, there's no question. Like
Yeah.
that was like crazy luck, crazy. A little bit of all the teams helping each other. Like, you know, when we were offered that bag and the guy said, "Hey, will you take it to them?" We said, "Of course," because
Yeah.
we want to
Sure.
help our fellow people.
Right.
And then when somebody put that clevis in that bag, thought for whatever reason, so
That's hilarious.
yeah, and then the guy himself saying like, "Yo, get out of here, go have fun." And like
Okay.
before even knowing that,
Yeah.
we could still get him running. Like,
Wow.
can't explain it. Like that is friggin' sick.
But that's Ultra 4.
That's Ultra 4.
You've
That's Ultra
you've
4.
heard these stories, and we've talked about it on the podcast several times of
Exactly.
racers helping racers with parts, with labor, with everything. You know, whatever it is.
Pulling winch, pulling
Yeah,
cable,
yeah.
whatever,
It's
you know.
like, hey, I'm out of the race. The Gomez brothers up there at backdoor freaking pulling winch cables because, you know, they're done. Their day's done, but I can help you because I'm a
Yep.
fellow racer.
Yep.
And I mean, we talked about it 100 times over, and I love it. That's exactly what this shit's
Speaking
about.
of which, I think it was car 74. It was a 4800 car.
Okay.
I think it was Hollingsworth Racing.
Okay.
That's how I remember it. It was
Good. Give him a shout out. You haven't talked to him since then?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
It was a red, white, and blue Trent Fab car.
Oh,
it was an
shit.
old Trent Fab car. Car 74, 4800 car.
Car 74.
Hollingsworth.
Where are you? Chris, you remember that? What was that?
74,
Car
where are you?
54.
Car 54.
Car 54. That was your
You're
era.
You're gonna age me.
Well, I just kind of knew it a little bit, but
It's
yeah.
like just beyond
throw it out
emergency
there.
and Adam 12, right? Fucker.
All right, well, there you go. So,
Super cool.
so that is super cool. So you guys get across that huge hurdle because, you know, that could have been a day ender right there. That worked out. And so, and it's a mental game, right? Because you're going through this thing and physical, mental, the whole thing's going on throughout this race. So, boom, you get the car fixed. Mentally, you're like, oh shit, we got a chance again, you know, because when it broke, you probably were like, this is not good. This could end our day.
Yeah, I definitely felt that.
So yeah, now you're back on track.
With a really good fix.
With a good
like a
fix, a
solid
solid
fix.
fix that's not a ratchet strap and a freaking wrench.
Breaker bar.
Yeah, breaker bar.
It was like a legit.
So it's a legit fix. So you're feeling good. So you move forward and yeah, go on about the rest of your day there.
Well, then after that
That's
was
when we made
Cougar.
it to Cougar Boot.
Okay,
Yeah,
then you were out
Cougar.
at Cougar at that point. Okay.
I don't know, Dale. Walk us through Cougar Buttes. What do you think?
Well, we had the option of going around it, apparently, right? But then all of a sudden
No.
we're there and we're like, let's do this.
No. You got to go through it. You got.
Oh, you do have to go
Oh
through
yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah. We had to go
I
through
thought
it.
that's what... Okay. But, yeah, no, we had gotten there and we're just... Oh, man. We had seen, there was like 3 cars just dead.
We hadn't pre-run
It was
anything.
like a graveyard.
I haven't been there in like 2 years, and Dahlia has never seen it.
Right.
I don't think. Have you seen that, Dale?
I had spectated it.
Oh,
and
okay.
I've
See,
been
that's
thinking,
okay.
wow, this, you need something really capable. And it was pretty challenging. We both had to get out. I got out a couple times and
Okay.
did some spotting. Kyle was, he was on 2 tires quite a few times. And
So when
it
Kyle
was
got
a
out, who
dance.
was driving?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was kind of walking it too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Walking it too. Just kind of
Pick a line. Yeah.
I was also new to. I've actually reflected upon this. I was new to having a co-driver, so it's like at that time, like I hopped out of the car because I needed to take a look at the waterfall, and it's like, no, that's what my co-driver does.
Right,
Like
right.
I did. This is the first
Yeah.
time I ever drove in a race like this and had a co-driver. And so next time I wouldn't get out. It would just, Dahlia would spot me, and just,
Yeah. So
I just never did it before.
You're used to wreck wheeling, and it's like, you got your buddies that you trust, the buddies you don't trust, but you're like, okay, I'm going to get out and take a look at this thing. But yeah, you gotta put the faith in your co-driver and
Right.
go, yeah, let's just.
So let's step back for a second.
Oh.
So prior to being as a co-driver for your brother at KOH, have you ever been wheeling before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I grew up doing it. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Very familiar. Very
Yeah.
comfortable out there.
Okay, good. Just wanted to.
Getting
Not her
stuff.
first rodeo.
I mean, there's a reason he asked me,
Okay.
I love it.
Let's go. Let's go get stuck.
Yeah. That's so good.
So New England wheeling, is that what it was all about?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Just out of Sharon, go to the power lines. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
The main high tension wires, and just go get stuck out there.
Again, back to power. It's been your whole
That's it.
life,
Yeah,
Kyle.
power lines, man. That's it.
The electromagnetic fields, man.
Yeah.
They can mess up
Yeah.
your head.
Yeah, they can screw with you. All of a sudden, you're driving an electric Toyota. Like, what the hell are you doing, man? Spent too much time under the power line.
There it is. We know.
So good.
The more you know. Stay away from
The more
power
you know.
lines.
All right, so let's get into so you got this repair, and then I'm sure there was times out there in the desert where you're just like, okay, how many more miles do we have? What's going on? And then
Well, they didn't know they didn't have GPS.
right,
No, we did actually at
They
Pit
did
Stop
get
1.
GPS
we were
later,
able
yeah.
to download the maps.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
from someone. Yeah.
So then
which was very helpful.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I bet.
Yeah, Room on Pit 1 the first time. Pam Hall had it on her phone.
Oh,
she was
Pam, yeah.
So she was with the media crew.
Yep.
And then I was standing there. I was like, "Does anyone have the maps?" I just yelled it out. I yelled it out to everybody who could hear me. And she was like, "I got them," and we got them airdropped onto Dahlia's phone, so we could we had some kind of GPS.
God bless technology, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty sick. I mean, if you think about it,
It sucks to have to be out there with a sextant, right?
Oh, look at you.
right?
So it's you're getting to the point, getting closer to Hammertown and hitting the ridge there, and you crest over and you're dropping into old Hammertown, and it's like, we got this. We can basically coast into the finish line at this point. What's going through your minds? I mean, you guys got to be excited and just like, holy hell, this is happening. It's all coming together finally after this long day.
Well, especially after pit stop 2, we had put in the new battery pack and, felt really good about making it. And so we were just really excited. From the second pit stop to Hammertown, we were feeling really good and amped up the whole time. Yeah, we knew
you had enough power. So it was
how far from pit stop 2 to Hammertown was that?
Roughly
15 miles or 16.
That's just a hop.
And I heard that you had like a battery pack that you didn't tap into all day. You always had like backup.
Not always, just from Hammertown to pit 1. We had 2 small battery packs.
Okay.
We only used one. We thought we would use more than one.
Yeah.
So we had a fully charged battery pack when we got to pit 1.
Okay.
We switched out to the big pack, and that took us. So we only had one battery pack at that point. We went through Cougar Buttes, and I did not spare the juice.
Right.
I drove it the way I felt it needed to be driven.
Send it.
To try to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we were then driving to conserve battery.
Okay.
But there were still some climbs that's like, it's just about full out. Like you need to make this.
So did you have like a fuel gauge to know how low? Oh, you did. Yeah. Okay. So you knew how much power you had at all the time.
Yep. Were you tracking the way you thought you'd track, or were you burning more, or how did that work out?
We were doing well. I had limited testing on the car, so I wasn't sure as it was burning down and we were still in the green, but starting to turn yellow, starting to turn red, so to speak.
That's your fuel gauge that you're talking about.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was just going to stop at one point. Like I'm still pretty new to it, still learning a lot.
Well, it's a lithium battery. I mean, just, for example, I have lithium batteries in my hand tools at home. Mm-hmm. They go from like running full tilt to stopped.
Exactly. So
not much warning.
I didn't know what it was going to do.
Okay.
So that's why we drove conservative. That's why it took us so long. We were driving conservative. And then after we got to pit 1B, like getting back to pit 1, that was pretty comforting because now we knew we had 2 full small batteries, and we knew for sure we had enough battery to get back to Hammertown because we made it from Hammertown to there on 1.
That's okay. That's
like,
cool.
Boom! All right, we're all set.
Burden off your shoulders at that point.
Yeah, we actually took a little bit extra time because all of our friends and family that were pitting with us at pit 1. We wanted to make sure they had enough time to get back to see us.
So that's a good point. And then there was also, because the drones were over you, the helicopter, the whole thing, right? They were filming this whole thing coming into Hammertown, and you physically stopped. And I think that was because you were shifting gears and stuff too.
No, it's because it's the simplest thing, and I've now figured it out. Mm-hmm. We had an issue with the car where the car would just stop drive.
Okay.
Like, sort of out of the blue. It seemed like it would do it more in part throttle situations.
Okay.
And the car would just stop, and the only way to fix it would be to turn the car off and back on again.
Oh, so you had to Control-Alt-Delete.
Yeah, Control Alt Delete and
to reboot their car.
yep, reboot, and you could do it while it was moving. You had to put it in neutral, and you put the motor in neutral.
Okay.
And then you could Control Alt Delete while you're still coasting,
So is that
and
the
like you
Windows-
got nothing at that point.
Windows
You're
95 or what?
Yeah, you're dead in the water, and then turn it back on and hope it fires up. Wait a
Okay.
second, and then click it into gear and then
Oh,
go.
I thought you
Like-
were shifting.
Well, it was
No.
a blue screen of
No,
death.
just yeah.
It was
he was getting the Control Delete.
I've since
BSOD.
found out what it is. It was an issue where the BMS is at a different baud rate than on the CAN bus than the VCU is.
Right.
And so I've figured it out now. It doesn't do that anymore. It's sick.
What
It's
about
like
the
so
UPS
fun
and
having the
COD
confidence to
and
just
the
drive.
IRS and the VFD?
The
Yep,
ones
the
and the
AC,
zeros
BD,
and-
and the DC, EFG. Yeah, they're all ripping now.
I'm
so.
just curious.
Holy hell.
Also, did you ever? So you took the clutch pedal out, right?
yeah. There's no.
Okay, so there was no like you weren't like, oh, I gotta push that clutch pedal.
No, there's no more clutch.
No.
I know.
no
I
clutch.
just, but you're driving it. You got a gear shift right there. You want to like shift gears. You got to anybody that's ingrained with driving a manual. You're gonna want to shift gears, and you need to push a clutch in to do it, right?
I was thinking we could put that switch and just put it on the clutch pedal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be
and
cool.
then if we ever, you put out a kit to convert
Yeah.
your Toyota
Yeah.
to electric, then you could just, here's your manual. Like, go ahead.
Just
like,
connect.
You don't have to tell them anything. Just,
And then
go
make
ahead.
your
Hit
shift
your
and
clutch
go.
to make it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. That's
It doesn't
cool.
work the same way,
No,
but it drives the same way.
But yeah, it would drive the same as having a clutch. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, that's why we were stopping. Though
So,
we were stopping because
okay.
it was cutting off. That's all it was.
Oh.
So we just turned it back on.
Wow.
So-
Well, there you go.
Had to reboot
Because
your
I
car.
thought it was, we're watching on the big screen in Hammertown there, and it's like, oh, they're stopped. And I'm like, oh, no, they're just shifting gears or whatever.
Going low range or
It's
high range,
yeah.
right?
And then you get going again, and I'm like, okay. And they stop again, and I'm like, holy shit.
Because he said, I need more torques.
Ning twerks. So, anyways, but that's cool. So then, okay, so tell me now. This is the pinnacle moment when you're coming through into Hammertown. You're coming through the arch, and you're coming through the short course, and then you cross the finish line. And I know Dave Cole ran right up to you guys. He was so freaking excited. I've never seen him run so fast. So that was super cool to witness in person, and of course it was on the big screen as well. But what was going through your guys' mind, and just like, holy shit, we made this, we accomplished our goal. I get it, but I mean, it just has to be surreal sitting in that vehicle and in that moment.
I'd say it was.
Yeah.
I'd say it was surreal.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was
That's a
just
good word.
awesome.
So did you guys like fist pump? You guys hug it out? What'd you do when you crossed the finish line? Because I was at the stage. I could see you guys, but I couldn't physically like see in the car or anything. So
We were pretty much yelling the whole time,
Yeah.
we were just super pumped up.
Yeah, it was a little bit all the above.
yeah,
All
right
the
on,
above.
right
Yeah,
on.
for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
That was pretty
yeah, It was
exciting.
a great feeling.
yeah.
That's
And we had a great greeting crew.
Oh no,
Man.
no doubt. You guys
Yeah.
got inundated right after the finish line there, and then going up on stage, and so I was right there to witness all that. And I mean, Dave literally ran up on stage right behind you guys, and family and friends, and the whole E.V.E. crew was right there. It was a great moment to be part of as me, just down, looking up at you guys, and I can't imagine what it was like to be on stage and knowing that you accomplished your goal.
That's awesome.
It was definitely exciting. We had never done anything like that before.
Nobody has.
We didn't really know what to do with our hands, Like,
What do I do with my hands?
like it's like, oh, is this what we do? And then I think his name. Who's the guy who was announced? Doug was.
Yeah.
Was that Doug? The guy who was announced?
Doug and Ian.
Was that him? I don't know his name.
Well, Ian
Well,
wasn't there.
Ian wasn't there on.
I don't think he was
Friday.
It wasn't Ian. I know.
No,
it wasn't
Ian wasn't there.
Miles?
At that time.
No, it wasn't
Was it
Miles.
Miles?
I
was
think
Doug.
it was Doug.
I think it was Doug.
He did a great job. I felt
Yeah.
like of like talk, like just talking to me and like
Sure.
saying, asking me questions. Like that was great. Like I think it was Doug. If it wasn't, sorry. But whoever was
You're gonna call him Doug.
was awesome at it. I felt at kind of bringing us in.
Sure.
And
The fanfare was there. I mean, there was a ton of people sitting there on stage. It was pretty cool.
this Team Baker right there.
Yeah, Team Baker was, oh my God, they were in
Yeah.
full force, of course. Ultra 3 Racing there, or Obama. And and then, just all the other fans. I mean, it was a story that a lot of people were following because it was, something unique and different.
Yeah, for sure.
At KOH, and it was like, what? They put an electric motor, they put a Leaf motor in a Toyota 4Runner, and they're racing it? What? So
Well, you should have seen the double takes when we go by and it's just silent.
there's no, yeah, see?
Oh yeah, tons of
Everyone's
those.
like, is that
Telling you,
thing
you really
electric?
should. You needed to make you have a recording and
No,
speakers.
that's good. I love the stealthiness of it. That's so freaking cool.
No, you kind of like there's a bunch of people walking, and then you kind of go by, and at first they're like, they kind of a car goes by, and then they're
Yeah.
like, oh, that thing's really quiet.
Yeah.
And they look at it, and they're like, oh, that's because that's
the
electric. That's an electric car. Oh,
That's the future right there.
You can hear. You can hear.
The future just drove by.
That's the
Okay.
electric car.
So wait a minute. Before I forget, Kyle, you took the passenger and you changed out the passenger front fender and door. So tell us about
Sure
that
did.
story. Yeah.
So that passenger fender and door was from the motorhome that I left Sharon in 2017. So I had a 87 Toyota Dolphin motorhome. It was a Coachman, but same thing. People call them Dolphins more. So it was one of those goofy cab over weird Dolphin Toyota dually things.
Uh-huh.
And those stickers were accumulated from, they started in Mass, and then through the year and a half that I lived in Temecula, and then even after that, like that's where all those stickers came from. And then when I sold, I still had it, and I bought a 4Runner crawler, a solid axle crawler.
Okay.
And it was gold. And when I went to sell the 4Runner, when I had to sell the Toyota, the motorhome. Sorry.
Okay,
I had to sell the
Dolphin.
motorhome. I didn't want to, but it was just time. I didn't have space for it. It was the way things
a
go.
sad day.
It was the way things go. I bawled my eyes out. Okay, like I'm just gonna. I bawled my eyes
It
out
was
about that
a sad
whole
day.
It
silly
was your
Toyota.
home, right?
But you
Yeah,
had
it
to-
was. I lived in it. Like
You
it was
had
my
to find a
place.
special buyer because the back end was cut out for dirt bikes.
Oh man, no, that was
They had a
that was
ramp.
the selling point. Like, are you kidding me? Like that made it way better. Like I improved that thing.
did,
Like no,
okay.
there's no
Sure.
question. It actually did go to a good. It was a father and his wife, and they bought a 17-year-old son, and they had a 15-year-old daughter, and they were like,
Okay.
"Oh, I want to go do some camping and let the kids have something that they can enjoy."
Right on.
Yeah, and like I get a good picture of me shaking his hand when
Right on.
when we sold it, so it was cool.
So how'd
Still
you get
bawled
the
my eyes out.
fender? How'd you
But
get the fender and
I
door
had-
off of it?
So I had my crawler, which was an 89 crawler,
Okay.
which is the same cab.
yeah.
And before I sold the 4Runner, I took the stickered door and fender off, and I put the gold door and fender on that Toyota, the motorhome.
Wow.
And I tell you what, as good as it made my crawler look, it made the camper look that much worse. Like it looked so roachy after like mismatched color. Like it already had like a roach vibe, and then with like
a
the
Breaking Bad thing going on. there.
like you wouldn't believe. Like it wasn't even as classy as Breaking Bad. It was like that's a lump of shit. Like, that is trouble on six wheels. Like, and the fender was cut for like the mud truck that it came off of, so it had like a cut gold fender. Like it was bad. It was really bad. But
You're here on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
but the crawler looked good. Like I mean, the crawler looked really good. And I was like, all
that's
right,
cool.
here we go. Like, and then I sold that crawler
Okay.
just recently, and the only requirements was like I forget what the two ones were, but one of them was, the first one was, I own that door and fender. Those are mine.
Wow.
I'll give you the door and fender from the electric race car.
Yeah.
But that door and fender are mine. Like,
Okay.
those, you can buy my crawler. You can't buy the door and fender.
That's
Sorry
hilarious.
About that. Like, and then that's where the door and fender.
So
came
that's
from.
a great story, and I love the tie-in there and the history because that's super cool. My God, what a journey! I didn't know. I mean, I knew there was some history behind the door and the fender with all the stickers on it, and
Right.
and your
lot
life,
of miles.
yeah,
lot of miles.
yeah,
on that door
and your
fender.
life at Johnson Valley. But then this is cool because I never heard this story before. That is freaking epic, dude. Good for you. That's a nice little. I mean, those are the things, right? It's like. Yeah. People saw that and go, oh, okay, well, there must be some story behind it, but there's a story. That is it. That's
great
freaking
story.
awesome.
They've been up to Montreal in Canada.
Wow.
They've been all the way across America. They've been down Cabo in Mexico. So those that door and fender's been all across the continent.
Great fish tacos there.
Every corner of the continent you can imagine.
Wow.
And I lived in them. So
Man, that's
I still
cool.
got them. I'm still
Got 'em.
putting miles on
Car.
them.
That's so cool.
Still putting miles on them.
So freaking cool.
That is awesome.
Okay, so then, Dahlia, you finished the race, you're up on stage, and now you're back in camp, and you guys accomplished your goal, and where were you at with that whole thing? I mean, it was just like, we did this.
It's like, yeah, we almost didn't want to leave the truck.
Right.
We just kind of like went over and stood by the truck still.
You're
Just
sheltered.
feeling that, yeah.
It was your blankie.
Good feeling, yeah.
yeah.
No, but everyone was coming up and excited for us and asking questions, and it was just an awesome feeling,
I mean, did you realize how huge of an accomplishment it was at that point? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I guess so. I mean, I was super proud of him.
Sure.
And, the whole team in general. Just the fact that it all came together and we did it, it just was this great feeling.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for 2022?
Oh yeah.
Nice. We'll see you on the lake bed in 2022. Sweet.
I'm not missing it.
No, that's awesome. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great freaking story.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Kyle, and I gotta imagine, so this is your younger sister?
And then one younger is Heather.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to have family in there with the vehicle with you, making history per se here at KOH. I mean, it's just a cool story. I mean, this is like a Cinderella story.
Yeah, I mean, I came out and I loved it. My first year, I came up by myself, and then after that, I've never been by myself since then. Whether it's my dad, my sisters, like we've I mean, it's hard not to love. It's a great time. Like,
family affair.
Yeah.
So rocks next year.
Oh yeah. We want to go on the rocks next year.
That's cool.
Without a question. That's what King Hammers is about.
Yeah.
That's where we belong.
Yeah.
I want to go on the rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We need to figure out the front end a little better. So if we race that car again, it'll have a solid axle in it.
Okay.
If we don't, it'll be because we're in something a lot cooler.
Well, there you go.
I don't know what's going to happen between now and then.
Yeah.
But if we're in that car again, it's going to have a 3-link coilover solid axle,
there you go.
bitch and front suspension.
There you go.
And we're gonna kick some ass in the rocks. That's the plan as of right now.
Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to see.
And if that's not the case, we're not going to be in that IFS anymore. It's cool, but it's just so worn out at this point. It's so out of shape. It's so the mounting points in the chassis are so screwed up.
Yeah.
Well, and you also have
it had been raced before.
Well, several times.
It's just been so raced and abused that the nothing about the front end is straight.
So, okay, can I interject now? Because as I went over there and all my years of four-wheeling and stuff and mechanical knowledge, and I went over there, and you guys were converting this car to electric, and I'm looking at the mechanical, the way the car was sitting mechanically, and I'm like, even if they get this converted over to electric, it's going to be a scrunt, man. I mean, there's
Things
you're working with
damaged.
some old. It's clapped out.
Yeah,
it was
it
a
is.
clapped out rig.
It is.
And unfortunately, you guys didn't have time to get it converted over to electric, run it, and make mechanical adjustments to it, suspension and frame, whatever you needed to do to update it. But that's what made it even more special to me. In that, yes, you converted this, you took this gas engine 22RE out of this 4Runner and converted it to electric. And you basically took a clapped out freaking
race
and honestly,
And sent it around the track
you
again.
did. And I don't know if
Here
it had a brand new 22RE, if you guys would have made it across the finish line. I mean, that thing was beat to shit.
It wasn't clapped out. It was worn in.
It was worn in. Look at you. You're
Old
so nice.
shoes,
You're
like
so
old
nice.
shoes.
Old shoes. Nice and easy. But it was. I want our listeners to know that this thing was not like the best suspension, best of everything, and then electric motor and batteries put into it, and you guys had a smooth ride, because you did not. You guys took a POS. Toyota and
it was a little whopped out
and made it happen, and that added to the whole ordeal.
It's part of why we went.
Well,
as
that
slow
was our
as we
biggest
did.
issue was
Yeah.
the mechanical
Yeah,
Yeah,
steering.
yeah.
Nothing we did to the car, the electrical conversion was broke on race day.
Right, it worked. It proved itself.
Yeah,
That's
everything
cool.
we did worked, and that's part of why we went as slow, especially after we broke.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, hang on. Let's not break again. That's that's
Let's
like
not do
2.5
that again.
hours and
Let's
a
not do that
miracle
again.
from all the planets had to align
Right,
for us to
right.
get that one part.
Right.
Let's not have to ask the planets to align again.
No.
Sure.
Like, let's just keep it moving and go slow, and keep it moving and go slow and get to the finish line.
Yeah,
You did.
So that's what we did.
because you knew what the mechanical ability. I mean, you were running a box of bolts across the line.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's cool. So, all right. So, major goal, freaking awesome. I am so excited for this, where it's going to. I'm excited, one, that you guys accomplished the
stands
goal and to follow the journey, and then where it's going to go from here. Who knows? Sky's the limit.
Exactly.
I know there's some plans in place and stuff that you may or may not be able to talk about, Kyle, but I like the potential, and you've opened doors to this electric racing.
We want to continue racing,
Yeah,
and we want competition.
yeah,
There you
Wherever that competition may lie,
yeah.
we want to go there.
I get it. You don't want the participation trophy, but although you guys earned that freaking trophy
Oh,
this
hell
year.
yeah, they
I
did.
know there's some people that may doubt it, whatever, but for what you guys accomplished in such a short amount of time. I mean, how many months? It was months that you converted this rig, and
About October
Yeah.
to the race. Yeah.
okay, and then it wasn't only that, but I mean, it was all self-taught, and thank God for YouTube and phone calls and people you knew and people that knew people that you knew and stuff. But I mean, there was a lot of unknowns going into this, and
Yeah.
I mean, the concept was there. It was like, okay, yeah, let's put an electric motor. We'll take out the gas. We'll put an electric motor and run this thing. Well, it sounds good on paper, but it's not that easy.
No.
And there were so many details and stuff, and all the fucking wires I was watching you, these
There's a
butt
couple of 'em.
connectors, and I'm like, dude, seriously, honestly, right? One butt connector could fail, break, whatever. You got no connection, and that shit would shut off, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, there was.
You had to be sure. I mean,
Yeah.
doubly sure.
I mean, there's a lot of potential for failure, and you guys made it happen. So, hats off to you guys for doing this, and Dahlia for hopping in that right seat and trusting your brother with this whole ordeal, and getting to be part of that is pretty freaking special. So that's awesome. And
Yeah,
it's just
amazing.
Hats off.
It's one of the many stories of KOH,
Heck
right?
yeah.
I mean, you got all these different racers out there and teams, and so much time and money and family involved in this deal because it's a commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to convince your spouse, your family that, hey, I'm all in this thing, and it's, there's a lot of late nights and it's a commitment from everybody, and to see it all culminate on the Johnson Valley lake bed. Again, this is why I love Ultra 4 and the whole racing family and stuff, and this is just another story of that. So any parting thoughts, Dahlia, before we let you get back to your third or fourth cocktail on the beach there in St. Croix?
Third or fourth. She's a segling now.
Yeah, come on.
She's on 8 now. Come on now. Sorry now.
Sorry to expect you.
It's afternoon after all.
Shit, it's midnight.
Yeah. Pretty late here.
Oh, too funny.
No, I'm just, so happy and so grateful for the opportunity and proud of Kyle and the rest of the team.
Cool.
Just awesome to be a part of it. And can't wait for next year.
Right.
2022.
What's to come.
Right on. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's get in something quick.
Let's go faster.
Let's go way faster.
Going to go 88 in the
Yeah.
flux capacitor at this point.
Let's make something fast.
Right on. Thanks.
That is great, man. And then Kyle, what do you got to wrap this thing up? I mean, we've been going for a while and kind of got your whole story out here and your sister online. And where are you at?
I want to thank my sponsors. I want to thank Raceline Wheels. Now we have Milestar Tire on board, Pro Eagle Jack. I mostly want to thank Will and Chris Baramita and their sons Alonzo and Alex. They've really took me in for that whole those months crazy. Just can't thank them enough. I want to thank my mom and dad, my grandparents. I want to thank my cousin Matt. I want to thank Jeff, Vanessa. I want to thank all my people who came out who
Supported you.
Yeah, who really supported me. I want to thank you guys for getting the story out and hanging out with us.
It's all good.
We love doing this.
It's all passion. Everybody's passionate about what they do, right?
Yeah. And I can't say enough. And if I miss someone, I just didn't mean it. But
Dave Cole,
Dave Cole for the car, absolutely. He already knows that. He already knows that. Texas Jesus.
You don't need to thank Texas Jesus.
He built a bitchin' ride.
Yeah, I met Texas Jesus for the first time this year. That was cool.
He didn't even know. That's a great story. So Chris, he was talking to Texas Jesus, and I go, dude, do you know who you're just talking to? He goes, no. I go, that was Texas Jesus. He goes, holy shit, that was Texas Jesus. So it was so cool. Yeah. I love it.
We're just it was killer, man. I'm like, right on.
He built a bitchin' truck that we continue to ruin across the desert every day. I'll keep ruining it. Let's do it.
Right on.
So it was a hell of an experience. We learned a lot. I want to thank my sister for hopping in the rig, doing the dang thing, co-driver number one.
Love it.
There was so many times that it was we had a steering issue, and then after we fixed it, we still had steering problems, and so she would I didn't have to get out of the car. She would just be like, all right, I gotta, and grab the tools and be like, all right, stop, I gotta fix this thing. And she was just on it.
That's great.
On it. And then she'd come back in and be like, all right, I did this and I did that, and we're ready to go. Keep moving, motherfucker. Let's go.
We were finishing.
She was like,
we were finishing.
Yeah, she was telling me what's up.
Line, yeah.
She took ownership of the steering. She's like, I got this. Stay in the truck. There's no reason for you to unbelt. Let's go.
Nice.
And really on it. Next year we'll put you in the rocks and see how you do with the winch.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. Let's break the winch out next time.
Yeah. So
nice.
But no, that was awesome. We had so much fun, and no, just a crazy experience, and I want to keep having them. I want to improve upon it as a racing program. We want to race more races than just King of the Hammers.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I want to beat anybody who thinks that they can bring
it on. You want competition? Yeah,
I want to beat them.
Yeah,
if they think they're faster than us, then guess what? There's nothing that a couple of friends and a 30-year-old Toyota can't handle. We got you. Even if you're a big bad,
bring it on.
Bad brand name E.V.E. that wants to go race south of the border, then guess what?
Bring it. Bring it.
All right.
There it is.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
The gauntlet has been thrown down. I love
no matter
it.
who it is,
I
like
love it.
Throwing it down.
we're not messing around. We know what's up, and we're not a desert race. So
You heard it here.
we're gonna bring it to you.
It is. It's the future. It's going to happen, and I love that you guys were the first ones to do it, and being a family affair. You know, this wasn't some multi-million-dollar publicity stunt bullshit. You know, this was a
Grassroots shit.
It was grassroots. Yeah, it was a brother and a
garage.
sister.
This is
Built
like
in a
Apple
garage.
Computer and
Yep.
Hewlett Packard.
Exactly.
Built in a fucking garage.
Built in a garage with passion and freaking determination
and a little bit of pain and suffering.
and took a clapped out Toyota across the finish line, and that's freaking awesome. It's just so glad we got to know you guys and be part of this ride. A small part of this ride, but
very small.
Yeah, we didn't do much, but we drank
just
some of your
telling the
beer
story.
and whiskey and talked about it. But anyways, it is super freaking cool. So appreciate your time this evening, taking out of your vacation there, Dahlia, and.
Oh, that's
Get back
okay.
to your regular scheduled program.
Cut into my beach time or drinking time.
Yeah, I'm
so
pretty
we're
jelly
good.
right now. I wish I was in St. Croix, but yeah, and we had a decent meal here in Libations at the home studio with Kyle and Vanessa and Chris. So
Chris. And
anyways,
to mention me.
yeah, well, no, I mentioned you. You know, don't forget Chris. But anyways, it's great. So thank you so much, everybody, for your time, and this some great stories that came out of this. This has been awesome. Yeah,
No, thank you. Thank you for
yeah.
documenting it and
No, our pleasure.
it's
cool. Following along.
Yeah, and it's going to continue, and we're looking forward to future podcasts with you guys
story's
and
not
future
done.
racing and where this thing's going to go, because the
So do we.
potential. Yeah, the potential's high,
Yeah.
man. This is just the start.
Just the beginning of the charge.
Exactly.
Yeah, beginning of the
Exactly.
charge, no pun intended. Okay, I like that, Chris. Nice
So,
job.
Yeah. Well,
Hell
I sometimes I have a moment.
You do. You have your moments. It's great. So,
Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us tonight on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
yeah,
Awesome.
so
Hell yeah.
good. So, any final thoughts? Anybody? Dahlia, you got anything? Kyle, Chris, anybody? I'm good. I mean, I'm just like I'm fucking happy. This was awesome.
You look happy.
I'm happy. The old elk has made me happy.
If Lorenzo was here, he'd be like thrilled.
Lorenzo would be giving us the high hoof right now if he was here.
He's probably down at Lasertown. Rumor has it, Lasertown.
Rumor has it. That's our best lead. But
I just got let's take it to the next level.
yeah,
You
Let's
should-
go
I love it.
faster.
Let's keep progressing.
Let's go faster.
Yes.
Let's make something sick.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
Let's build something the likes of which that no one's ever seen. Something that doesn't even look like a car. Like, let's make something weird and let's make something fast. Something
Strap a rocket
that
to
solves the problem better than. Oh man, you want to talk about rocket? That's a whole nother show.
What's that? Oh, geez, here we go. I love it.
I've already had the jet assisted takeoff
Strap a
rocket.
rocket
Oh
to
yeah, rocket man. That's a whole nother. Thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
coming up on future Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
On
Chris,
that note, let's do this. Let's go. So if you need to get a hold of Jason or Chris, you can reach us at our emails, Jason and Chris at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
hit us up on the IG, Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
Don't
We're
forget
almost to 2,000 freaking followers.
We are almost to
which is
2,000.
nothing in Instagram land, but it's huge to us.
It's organic. It's all organic.
It is organic. We don't buy followers.
No.
Grassroots followers.
It is grassroots. We're all grassroots.
Hell yeah. So yeah, definitely take the time out to visit our website, wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
Yeah, you can get some swag or
click on the
dirtbag
merch.
stuff,
That's
whatever.
right.
There's discount codes. If you don't have the discount code, DM me on Instagram, Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. I deal with the Instagram.
That's right.
I got more KOH stuff to post. I've been a little delinquent
Tons
lately.
of stuff. Also, when this drop, we also Patreon. Don't forget about our Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
And just for our patrons on the $10 tier and higher, we just dropped a new rant.
Oh, rant and joke.
The joke
Jokes.
hasn't dropped yet. It'll drop tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So jokes are coming.
Jokes are coming, but yeah,
Okay.
the rant dropped. So
Okay.
hopefully, rant number 3, you guys can enjoy that. And so keeping on, and we're this is episode 97, so we're 3 away from 100.
The big hundo. The big hundo.
Plans are in the works for making that a big rocking and happening good time. So stay tuned.
Here we go.
And any last words?
With that,
we're out.